In the 2016 election, we kept hearing that story about how Donald Trump supposedly hired those Russian hookers to pee on him. The story, never made sense and it never really rang true. And that's why I'm so glad that the Durham report just came out because it sheds new light on this story. So supposedly, the story was that Trump paid the hookers to pee on a bed that Obama had slept in when Obama had visited Russia. It was offered as some kind of a desecration. Hillary apparently learned of it and suggested the FBI investigate it. I have no idea if this version of the story is true, but it does ring a little bit more true. Not true that Trump paid for hookers, but that Hillary would be more likely to tell the FBI about it instead of just telling us. Because if you're in the business of humanity, well, then you go right to the people and tell them. But if you're not, well, then you go to the FBI. Welcome. Welcome to Conservative Coffee Hour. I'm Stanley Smith. At Conservative Coffee Hour, we've been discussing political, social, and economic topics for almost 3 years now. We've gathered a lot of information, factual and anecdotal. We suspect we've been the victim of paid operatives on the call and some infiltrators, and we've probably been played more than once. It's all part of the learning process. Sometimes you need to go through some real shit to get to something real. Recently, I introduced the topic of strategy. What is our strategy? And I've been reaching out to various groups to ask them, what is their winning strategy? I've reached out to the Illinois Family Institute, the Illinois Tea Party, Chicago GOP, and the John Birch Society, among others. Education is a common response, getting the word out and informing the public. That's a common theme, and it's a good one. But as I dig deeper in each conversation, inevitably the topic of God comes up. Now, that's a good strategy. At Conservative Hour and on other calls, we eat up a lot of time trying to figure out right and wrong, true and false, and how to win at all costs. And sometimes it all seems like a big distraction. It's like we're all watching a football game in a huge stadium. We're really, really focused on the game, the players, and the different plays. We just have to win this game or regroup for the next big one. But if we pull back, we can see the crowd and the field, and that it's all contained in a huge stadium complex. Someone's running the stadium, and whether we win or lose, the people in management are going to just keep on keeping on. In fact, they're probably already planning the next big thing. Here in Chicago, I remember going to Comiskey Park while they were building the new stadium across the street. We were all having a good time at Comiskey, but when the time came, they tore down everything old and familiar and shuffled us off across the street to the new stadium like chattel. If you look at the history of our two-party system, you can see a philosophical difference going on, going all the way back to the Whig and Tory parties in the UK. The Tory party was for unbridled freedom in the person of the king, and the Whig party was for freedom of the people with restraint. Early in American history, the Democrat Party was the party of slavery. And in a way, one could see that the right to own another person was the ultimate form of freedom, at least for the one doing the owning. And the Republicans' focus on restraining the convention of slavery could be seen, and it was seen, as government overreach and tyranny. In our time, the most common play is to claim that one party or the other is going to take away our freedom, our guns, our bodily autonomy, and our identity. Playing on these themes is good tactics, and it makes for good politics, at least in the short term. And just like Hillary's Peen Hooker story, it's a driver for a lot of narratives, and it sells a lot of tickets. But what about the strategy? What about the stadium and the stadium management business? Who's the adult in that room? And can we be in that adult conversation somewhere up in the skybox? I believe we can, and I believe that, in fact, we are in that conversation. We hear the Master's voice not because of anything we do or don't do, but because God is calling us. Not everyone is going to hear it. Some of us can hear the truth mixed in with all the crap, but oddly, some cannot. I've always thought it was weird that evil people they don't seem to be able to even be able to toss us a small crumb. But good people, we can abide by we can abide by a little evil. Like it or not, we do it all the time. And I believe that's not a bad thing. It's actually to our credit. Because what's worse is not being able to abide by anything good and all the bad. It's the ultimate perversion. But that's exactly where we are right now. In this exploration of strategy, understanding where we are is an important part of it. We are in a philosophical battle that's bigger than right or wrong, win or lose. God is presenting himself as the winning strategy. We might not win all the games, but God, in fact, has already won this war. At this time, more than ever, we're hearing the Master's voice, not because we know right or wrong, but because he's calling. It's the ultimate form of freedom with restraint. If you would like to join us at Conservative Coffee Hour is every Saturday at 10 a.m. Central Time on Zoom. I will include my email in the description of this video. I'll be happy to send you an invitation. And I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.